الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Welcome to Takaful online course. And today we shall discuss the contract of Wadiah, as we have started discussing some of the Sharia contract in the context of Takaful. And today we try to touch a bit on Wadiah contract, because Wadiah could be somehow incidentally within the operations of the Takaful, could be observed or could be implemented when needed. Of course, there are some Sharia contract which could be regarded as a core driving contract in the context of Takaful, business operations such as tabarrua, such as wakala, such as mudaraba. But in addition to this main driving contract, you may observe additional contract that could be happening in the context of some circumstances within the operation of the Takaful business operation, and one of them is basically Wadiah. And briefly, Wadiah could be understood as a safekeeping. It could be understood as basically a contract which is between the owner of the asset and the custodians to safeguard asset on behalf of the owner. So it's a kind of preservation, it's a kind of taking care of something belongs to the owner. It's a kind of an exercise performed by a trusted person to handle the asset within the interest of the owner. So the actual nature of Wadiah is a amana. So Wadiah is regarded as a amana, trusted for safekeeping, and of course it is returnable upon demand. When the person asks for his amana, for his asset, for his Wadiah, so basically the person who's preserving that kind of and safeguarding that kind of asset should return it to its owner. Again, Wadiah is putting a valuable thing under the care of a trusted person, where the owner of the property is known as Mudia. So the owner is a Mudia, or we call him the depositor, and the person entrusted with the deposit is known as Wadiah or Mustawdi or custodian, and the deposit asset known as Wadiah or Amana. So as a result of that, Wadiah is a kind of safekeeping contract based on the principle of trust or amana. And the custodian basically is liable for any damage of the deposit. Is not liable for any damage for the deposit unless in case of negligence, misconduct, or breach terms and conditions. Meaning that the person who's saving this valuable thing, who's safeguarding this valuable thing, who's handling under his care this amana, is not liable in case of damage, destroy of this amana, except when there is a negligence or misconduct or breach of some terms and the condition. As a result of that, he will be held liable, similar to the concept of musharaka, similar to the concept of mudaraba, and similar to the concept of wakala. The Wadiah is also part of it, because it is a trust-based contract whereby the Amin is not liable, the trusted person is not liable. He will be liable only in case of basically negligence, misconduct, or breach terms of conditions. And of course, it is a contract of practice in Islamic finance. Of course, it is practiced also in Islamic banking, but the treatment of Islamic banking of Wadiah, as you know, we're going to discuss it in a different context, whereby Wadiah is divided into two: Wadiah Yadul Amana, Wadiah Yadul Al-Daman. So we are not going into that discussions so far in the context of Takaful, because normally the Wadiah in the context of Takaful is Wadiah Yadul Amana, which is a bit different than the Wadiah in the context of banking, which is Wadiah Yadul Daman. And basically the Wadiah could be observed in the context of Takaful in case money is kept in the surplus, in the risk fund or in any other special account, especially in the context of surplus. And as you know, sometimes the surplus is not disbursed immediately, and in some cases, basically of Takaful operators is not disbursed and distributed for a few years. It could be 2-3 years. Somehow, because of a problem in the system, sometimes migrations of the system, improving of the system, a kind of maintenance that has been done in the system, the revisions on some figures is ongoing to determine exactly the amount. Based on the recommendations of the actuarial, also some money could be held for a while, and so on and so forth. So this kind of disturbance in the operation, or this kind of decisions with regard to the business operation of Takaful, could lead to the Takaful operators may hold some of the money which normally belongs to the participants on their behalf for whatever reasons. And as a result of that, this money should be held in a form of Wadiah. Of course, based on the recommendations of the Sharia board discussions, it could be placed in a special account, it could be placed in an investment instruments based on Mudaraba, it could be, kept as a Wadiah within the interest of the participant until the time comes. Then the distributions will take place, because once the actuarials give the recommendations and determine the amount, so at that point of time, so that money basically technically belongs to the participant and should be distributed, but it has been delayed for whatever reason. So that money could be treated in a form of Wadiah, could be treated in a form of Amana in the accounts of the Takaful operators, and it could be deployed in some kind of investments, instruments, money market, or fixed deposits, or whatever, in order to improve the funds until the time comes for starting the process of distribution. And sometimes if you have a big amount for distributions, if it is an accumulation of many years, so normally the Takaful operator will not distribute the funds one-off, but it will go through badges and process of distributions, but could be take a process of 1 year because the amount is so big. So that's money that has been allocated, so it doesn't belong to the risk fund, and it doesn't belong to the Takaful operator, and doesn't belong to the reserve, it doesn't belong to the shareholders, but it belongs to the participant. As a result of that, its treatment will be a little bit different. So hence the rules of Wadiah could be applicable to cover this kind of fund. And in addition to the surplus, any kind of money that's somehow has been determined that this belongs to the participants and sealed in the account of the Takaful operator, I think it should be governed by the Wadiah contract, taking into account that the Takaful operators is holding this money as an amana until the time comes for a process of distributions and basically disbursement. So this is the contract of Wadiah. Briefly, maybe in a different context of discussions, when we talk about Wadiah in the context of Islamic banking, we may dive further on how is the implications of deploying the fund of Wadiah in the operation of Islamic banking. With this, thank you very much, and see you soon, inshallah, in the coming session. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.